fantastic morning. It is a Thursday right here in the center of Nairobi. One more day to the weekend.
What? Finally, you can smell the weekend vibes just around the corner.
All right. Welcome to K24 Alpha Jury. As Sarah loves to say, it is the #1 show in the 254, #1 breakfast show. Actually, just say it's the #1 show in the 254. Yep. My name is Shomo Ryuki.
I'm Jeff Morton. Of course, like we said, when the weekend is just around the corner, you know, we are hoping that by yesterday, all the serious work in your week was done. Because from here, it's just down to the weekend. And on the show, of course, right here, Embakasi East MP Babu Owino stops by. We have a chat, gets up close and personal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Today is actually Relationship Thursdays, guys. We're going to be talking about the things that men are scared to tell their women.
It's about to be hot.
Yes. What exactly are you scared to tell your woman? Please just be sure to tweet us as from now. Somebody just said M-Pesa pin. It's okay, it's fine. Just give us your comments. We are on Facebook, K24 TV, Instagram and Twitter is at K24 TV. My name is Sarah Nuteshna.
That's going to be a big one.
Wait for that. As in, you know, it's always a good time.
Yes.
And then just Jenny confessions. These are my confessions. I'm sure I'll just go home to a man like,
tell me.
Speak.
Nothing, babe.
And you know, I like Robert Burale because he's just very open and candid and says it as it is. So today he's going to tear us apart.
Okay, he's coming here. He's going to be doing that and so much more. Also, as always, you look at your roads to make sure, even if it's a Thursday, if there's a bit of traffic, let's just start your weekend on a good note. Give you the panya routes that you need to just navigate through the streets of Nairobi. Absolutely. But before all of that, let's start off. Here are your highlights.
Coming up, we rise and shine as life coach Francis Waishiro discusses the decisions in transition. We get up close and personal with Embakasi East MP Babu Owino. We chat about men and emotion. All this and more on Alpha Jiri.
As Jeff says, you know, all your business should have been concluded yesterday. Today, it's just a waiting game for the weekend. And of course, let's just see if your renewed optimism as the weekend approaches will translate into the roads. Let's take a look at the roads right here. As always, we start off with Mombasa Road, if that is at all possible. Okay, there we go. Starting off with Mombasa Road right there. Let's see. Starting with the City Cabanas area, which is always quite tricky. As always this morning, you can see it's quite busy there as we head into the City Cabanas area and past that into the Imara Daima and Standard Group area and the Nakumatt headquarters, past Modern Coast into the Southern Bypass area. Things are really quite moderately busy, but past that, because you know this is truck traffic, let's just be honest. The trucks have entered the Southern Bypass going up country, and of course the road, now Mombasa Road, starts to flow smoothly up until the Nyayo Stadium roundabout, where as you can see traffic has started to build up there. All right, Langata Road looks good. The only place that we can see a bit of traffic for the first time in living memory on Langata Road is outside the Deliverance Church, not outside the bar, outside the church. Nikwa Kesha, God bless you. As you head down into the T-Mall area there, that looks really good. Bagathi Way, same story. There's always that bit of traffic outside the high-rise. And of course, opposite the road towards the entrance of Montezuma Mona Lisa and Umash Funeral Homes there, there's a bit of traffic there. But as we head down towards the City Mortuary roundabout, traffic seems to be flowing quite smoothly. Gong Road looks good, all the way from Adams Arcade down into the City Mortuary area. Dennis Spritz Road looks great as well. Owens Kodak looks good as well. Now let's look at Thika Road really quickly, see what that looks like. Thika Road is not bad, although this area at all stops right there in the center of your screen will always be busy. Doesn't matter. The only time it will not be crazy is on Christmas Day. And even then, I'm sure you'll find reasons to be there. But all right, but as we head down from the Garden City Mall, Allsops is quite busy, but eases up as we head down into the Pangani area. All right, that is your traffic situation right now as at, let's see, a few minutes past 6 a.m. Right now, Mercy Njoroge and Jeff Mote will take you through the daily papers.
And good morning. It's time, of course, to go through your newspapers right here on Alpha Jiri. I'm Jeff Mote. I'm joined by Mercy Njoroge. I don't know if you're glad that finally the World Cup is over. The first week without any talk of soccer, as in people are just moving on.
Yeah, I'd say probably I'm glad, but of course I have some mixed feelings because I'm feeling like I'm still having a hangover of the World Cup.
A bit of withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah, of course, but I'm happy that it ended well.
I'm telling you, for very many of us are wondering, what do you do now with life?
I know.
You know, and are you supposed to live like this for 4 years? It's hard, 4 whole years.
It's really hard, but Jeff, what do you do? You have to keep yourself busy.
And even that time, the World Cup will be in December.
Oh, yes.
So you can imagine.
Yeah, and then, you know, it's also going to be in 2022, so the elections
will
be so busy that time.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Okay, as we wait for that, let's start off, of course, with your People Daily. On the front page, a bit of arrangement when it comes to the police force. AP unit faces disbandment. Now, this, of course, coming off the fact that the president felt that there are very many units within the police force that have overlapping duties and responsibilities. And because of that, instead of having several different police units that essentially do the same thing, some people need to be sent home, other units need to be disbanded, and of course, coming in the crosshairs is the administration police. Of course, yeah, and I think, you know, the thing that is coming out here, I think there was the general feeling that there's a lot of duplication of duties. And for us to make the police effective, you have to, like, put together some units and disband others. Although this story has brought about a bit of some issues, because if you look at it, you know, even some people in the police force, they don't want to comment about it. It's a really hot issue. And although I think it's a move probably in the right direction, because it's also going to harmonize the operations in the police service. But again, if you look at the AP, the kind of training that they go through, and then, you know, when you tell them that they're going to also join the regular Kenya police, they feel a bit disadvantaged, because theirs is very rigorous training. And now if you want to put them together with the Kenya police, then they feel a little bit like disadvantaged. So there's going to be a bit of, I think, some unsettled, some of them are going to feel a bit unsettled. But I think maybe in the long run, it's to the advantage of the country. Right. Yes. And also, even as you say that, when you look at some of the units that might lose their autonomy in these proposed reforms, we have the GSU, we have the Recce Squad as well. And you wonder, especially when you do that to such elite forces, so to speak, how will they take that, and what actually happens when they are reabsorbed into other units within the police force? Yeah, and also, you know, it's like now you're taking them back to a refresher training now, because you see the way they've been used to dispatching their duties, then things will definitely going to change. Therefore, as they plan to disband these AP units, I think we should be ready for, you know, a bit of unsettled, you know, unsettlement in the police force as they're dispersing their duties. Yeah. Okay. No, just hoping, since the president has actually also given a directive that he wants the proposed reforms and all of this to be tabled to him in 30 days. Yeah. So the clock is ticking for Matiang'i and co. Yeah, but then given that it's Matiang'i, I think we expect it to be done in an effective way, because we know Matiang'i is a worker. So, and we've seen him doing it in the education ministry. So now that he's in the interior ministry, I think we expect this to be at least smooth sailing. Maybe there's going to be some resistance, but anyway, we don't know. We cannot preempt. But given that it's Matiang'i, we really hope for the best, that this, if it should be done, it should be done in the proper way. Very true. Yeah. Very true. And of course, that story is continued on page 6 of the People Daily. Still on the front page of the PD, Obama accuses Kenya of bias against gays. He urges African states to respect, uphold rights of those with different sexual orientation. And this, of course, within the African setting, it's a touchy issue, more so in Kenya. We can remember our own president was asked this particular question at an international media station.
Yes.
And he said it wasn't one of the things at the fore right now. There are other things that the country needs to grapple with before they come to that.
Yes, because, you know, it's not the first time that this issue is coming out, and especially from the US, that they seem to like want to push for the, you know, something that even our president acknowledged that it's really not what we need to discuss right now. It's not really the main thing. So the fact that Obama talked about it again yesterday, it seems like there's something that they really want to achieve. And of course, culturally, really we still haven't, you know, accepted that gays, I mean, the gays and lesbians and the LGBTQ community. But again, they also have rights, and I really feel like for us, it's not like the right time to start discussing such. I know there are biases, yes, but there are more important issues as of now for Kenyans.
Okay, and of course, Obama deciding to reiterate that, of course, when he was in Africa. And it just goes back to Uhuru to take the lead on that one. As far as we know his stance on that particular issue and what his government will be doing moving forward with that.
Remember, it's a very, very touchy issue because, you know, you're going back to our culture. What do we feel as, you know, as Africans or as Kenyans? Yeah. So it's a really, really emotive issue that really nobody wants to talk about.
Get on. Yeah. Okay, and of course you can get a bit more of that on page 4 of the People Daily. Also, tax paying offloaded by 15% for home buyers in new law. A bit of reprieve right there.
Oh, yes. I mean, 15% it's a good cut, And this is actually in line with President Uhuru's Big Four agenda because affordable housing is one of his pillars. And the fact that he signed into law yesterday the tax laws, amendment bill, it's a move in the right direction because then it encourages people. Because let me tell you, owning a home in Kenya is like, you know, it's
almost an elusive dream.
Exactly. So, but these at least will encourage, some people to, you know, be daring enough to want to own homes. So, I think it's a good thing. It was really encouraging to see this happen. And you know, when you're talking about taxes, given that we are being taxed from all corners.
Exactly.
All our income is taxed, so it's a really, really encouraging thing that happened yesterday.
Absolutely. So, of course, as far as your journey towards home ownership is concerned, it's a step forward in the right direction for you. So, at least you're being given a bit of incentive to go ahead and get your own home. On the second page of the People Daily, Facebook slur on Dr. Awor Hunt duo. Now, a Nairobi court has granted police orders to search houses of 2 social media users for allegedly uttering abusive words to self-proclaimed prophet David Awor's congregation. Yeah.
Remember, Jeff, recently the media, the cyber crimes law was signed. So I think there are some 2 people who sent some very provocative words, and I mean they insulted the Dr. Awor's congregation. So the lawyer, the court yesterday ordered that their houses be searched. I think they need to get maybe their laptops and their electronic devices to help investigations into this matter. So, I mean, people need to be careful when they're posting things online anyway. And even if you don't agree with what I'm doing, really, you don't have a right to just go online and just, you know, insult me or send me messages that are, you know. Yeah.
Exactly, because at this particular point, also you can see the court is trying to set precedent to the fact that even online with your social media accounts, even if you think you're anonymous,
of course,
you have to exercise some form of responsibility as to what you put out there.
Yes, yes, and I think it will serve as a lesson to those people who are called keyboard warriors.
True.
Don't just go there and call people names or insult people. Everyone is protected by the law.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. And of course, you can get the details on that on page 2 of the People Daily. Still on that page, a bit of a weather forecast for you. Take caution. Strong winds set to hit the coastline. Now, fishermen and seamen working along the coastline have been advised to exercise caution in the next few days following strong winds currently being experienced in the region. So, of course, because of the nature of their trade, this this, of course, affects the tides. And, of course, there's nothing worse than, going out ill-prepared or going out at the wrong time when you're a fisherman and you're left high at sea.
Yeah, fishermen. And even those people who are along the coastline, because you never know how, you never know how strong the winds will push the water. So it's a good thing that people are being prepared way in advance. Just be cautious, just take caution.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. Before we go to page 3 with Michael Muraya's Wacky World, there's an interesting story here, and it's all zeroing in on the Nairobi County government. Sonko seeks exclusive right to run city toilets on that one. Of course, earlier on, a couple of weeks back, we had the fact that he wanted to make all county toilets free.
Yes.
But because of that, of course, there are already groups that are running these particular toilets, and they're not going to take this lying down.
Of course, they are not going to do it. But Jeff, I need to ask you, before we continue, are you happy with how the city is being run to start with?
At a broader extent, no.
No, of course, the roads, still have potholes that haven't been fixed. If it's garbage collection, surely.
Still an issue?
It's still an issue. If it's street lighting, it's still, nothing is being done about it. So now, on top of all that mess, someone has just sat down and thought, apparently there are 68 toilets, public toilets in the city. So someone thinks that they are not being managed properly and they want to do it from their end. And already, the whole heap of work that is on their table is still not, properly being executed. So you can imagine if these public toilets are taken by the city council, surely, are you really convinced that they're going to manage them as well as they're being managed right now? That's
the question, because especially with the fact that they're talking about the fact they want to have these toilets free, it sounds like an electoral promise. But we do know if that goes that way, you might not be able to use a public toilet again for quite a while. And
also, Jeff, there's a likelihood that someone is thinking we could have because if they're saying that we're going to have these toilets free, being used freely, so somebody's thinking probably we can set a budget aside to run these facilities. But are we really convinced that this money is going to be channeled to make these toilets, to properly clean the toilets and make them as effective as they are right now? Because 10 shillings, we pay these 10 shillings to use these public toilets. True. But we are happy with the services because definitely you'll get tissue paper, you'll get water, and you're paying for a service that you're happy with. But now, if you're saying it's going to be free, really, I am not really convinced that this is a move in the right direction. And so also, the City Hall needs to focus on what is mostly important right now. So far, I don't think there's been any complaint from Nairobians that the public toilets are not working. Yeah. And
even as you say that, like you said earlier, of course, the county government has a lot on its plate. Yeah. It's not as if it's cleared everything else and now feels like it can go and assist with this particular issue.
And if as Nairobians would have told the city hall that there's a problem, then probably it would be they're trying to solve a problem. But really, I don't think there's a problem so far.
Okay. Yeah. Let's wait and see how that particular issue plays out.
It's a lucrative business, but I had to pull that one off. But it's not the right time for Sonko to focus on this.
Absolutely.
Needs to focus on other more important issues right now.
And you'll wait and see how that particular issue plays out, of course, right here in the capital. But at this point, let's move on to page 3, where it's literally a no-go zone for men. Shiro, over to you.
Wow. So you just said even page 3 is a no-go zone for you today? All right, Jeff. All right. If free today in your People Daily, just check out Michael Muraya, who just never disappoints, on page 3 of your People Daily. Let's take a look at what he has to say about places exclusive to women where the opposite gender are considered persona non grata. Let's start off with this village in in Samburu County. I really love this headline. It says, Samburu village where Sams and Morus may not enter. Michael. So he says, deep in Samburu County lies a sleepy village called Umoja Uaso, which is an all-female, self-governing matriarch community where men are not allowed. Now, it was founded in 1990 by Rebecca Lolosoli, she's a Samburu woman, as a sanctuary for homeless survivors of violence against women and young girls escaping forced marriages. So, of course, since then, the village has outlived attacks, land disputes, court cases, and several other hurdles to become just a sanctuary for troubled women. Wow. So how they, create wealth and income for themselves is making traditional Samburu crafts, which they sell to tourists at the Umoja Waso Women's Cultural Center. That is a place I would love to visit. Centuries-old India Market has 4,000 traders, none of which are male. So this is a market called Ima Kethel. It translates to Mother Market. It's a 500-year-old vibrant bazaar, has 4,000 odd local women trading with thousands of customers. Interestingly, to this day, only married women are permitted to trade at the market. None of the shopkeepers is male. So, of course, it also provides shelter and livelihood to women in search of providing a livelihood to themselves and their families. So there's also a women's only garage. It's called the Only Girls Garage, and it's in Paris, France. It's opened in 2014. And, of course, it is designed to make women feel comfortable, especially those who are just sick and tired of being shortchanged by deceitful mechanics. I can vouch for that. I think women need to learn more about their cars. Others will just, hey, utabebwa. Then, of course, there's an island that only women may visit. If you're a feminist and you're searching for a vacation spot where you don't have to interact with men at all, just look no further than Super She Island, which is a women-only island resort off the coast of Finland. So basically, it's a brainchild of an American entrepreneur called Christine Roth, who decided to invest in a women-only resort after realizing that being around men was distracting to other women. So she bought an 8.4-acre patch of land off the coast of Finland, set up the spot. Wow. Then, of course, there's a shopping mall in Shanghai, China, which sparks controversy in 2015 with its special supersized parking spaces exclusively for female drivers. And, of course, the parkings are pink. They make them half a meter larger because our female, feeble little brains, we don't know how to park. We don't know where to park. It has to be painted pink for us to know even where to go. Poor us. I don't know how we in Nairobi have been surviving with these male parking spots. I don't know how we do it, Jeff.
Well, like Michael Mariah said, that is a no-go zone, so I will not go there. Thank you very much for that, Chiro. You get plenty more in your People Daily on all of that. Let's quickly look through the rest of the papers and the headlines that they have. In the Standard, they're leading with the fact that Uhuru is rebuilding his State House team. Now, the president is winding up realignment of Inner Circle as part of a wider approach to the changes to his second and final term lineup to help secure his legacy. Of course, the head of public service, we have Joseph Kinyua, chief of staff and head of president's delivery unit, Nzioka Waita, State House Comptroller, Kinothi Ambogwa, Interior CS, of course, Fred Matiang'i, Deputy Chief of Staff, Nje Muturi, State House Spokesperson, Kanze Dina, Deputy Head of Public Service, Wanyama Musiambo, and Aide-de-Camp, Lieutenant Colonel Timothy Lekolo. Of course, the aide-de-camp, of course, being the first time we have an officer coming from the Navy as aide-de-camp. So that's a first, of course, also as far as State House is concerned. Yes. But this, of course, people reading the fact that this is a team that's to drive his legacy this next 5 years. Yeah. Yes. Okay, that's so it's a big story there. If you want the more details on what exactly it means and why these particular people are put in those respective dockets, you can get that in the Standard today.
Okay, yeah, and in The Nation today, the big story is the power bill scam. And now they're saying that the truth is finally out. And they're saying your monthly energy consumption bill is the emblem of all that is wrong at the monopoly that is Kenya Power, where thermal contractors run rogue procurement, milks every purchase, and thieving agents use a lot of abracadabra to determine what to charge you. So it seems like even the high, energy energy charges that we have to pay, it's because of the procurement that is really not as transparent as it should be. And also another story that I find interesting in The Nation today is the Solai Dam. The owner is saying that he's also a victim because he's feeling a victim and not a culprit because he's being, the whole thing has really emotionally drained him. So I don't know that this guy is now trying to cry, like a victim. Of
course, Perry Mansuk was grilled by the Senate. So, of course, I think he decided to pull out the victim card during the hearing. Yeah. Okay, so that's what's happening in the Daily Nation. Finally, let's look at the Standard. On the front page, Ruaraka. Of course, it's all about that piece of land. How NLC defied court order. Now, Mtata wants Matiang'i Swazuri jailed for contempt of over 1.5 billion shilling payout. The High Court had stopped transaction pending determination of land ownership, but the NLC still defied that court order and moved on with that particular transaction. You can get that right there. And also, the Kenya Pipeline Company apparently had a fraud to run a 10 billion shilling portfolio. The general manager had no papers. They were all fake, and he was in charge of 10 billion Kenya shillings worth of a portfolio at the KPC.
Yes, when you think you've seen it all, then more is yet to come.
Every single time.
Yes, every single day.
Okay, so even as we see all of that right there, you can get more details on that. Of course, also in the front page of the Star, Patel talks about the fact that I'm also a victim of that particular Solai Dam tragedy. You can get those details right there. And all of that, of course, this morning. But let's get some of your feedback. Of course, even as you tweet us throughout the day, you can get us at K24TV, hashtag Alfajiri. That's where we get all of that. Thank you so much, Mercy, for taking us through the papers.
Karibu.
Asante sana. Let's get your feedback right now with Shiro.
Right, thank you, Jeff. Now, one of the bigger stories that people have been discussing on social media is just the proposal of the county government to take over exclusive rights. I like the pun that the people daily used in their story, exclusive rights over the public toilets in Nairobi. Of course, a lot of people have, expressed their concern that because the proposal is that the public toilets should be free to use, people are wondering, now, will we be able to use this public toilets? Let's see what you have to say, starting with blogger Abraham Mutai. He says, hello, friends across Africa. Today in Kenya, armed police officers were deployed to guard public toilets in the capital, Nairobi, against anyone attempting to access or use them. You heard me right. Armed police officers to guard public toilets. The year is 2018. As you can tell, he has very strong feelings about this. TJ says, sinister move that will see the level of cleanliness and daily maintenance deteriorate to the old days where toilets were filthy to the brim. The site itself was an eyesore and muggers hibernated inside waiting for unsuspecting users. Leah says, taking over and managing them is another issue. Is the county ready to keep the toilets clean? I wish they could have just subsidized the rates and we continue enjoying the clean service rather than take over and mismanage the whole thing. As you can see right there, Nairobians are very pessimistic about this new proposal. It seems like they would rather continue paying the nominal fee they pay in exchange of enjoying cleaner services. All right, that is it for the newspaper review. On the other side of the break, we rise and shine. Don't go anywhere.